It is deep into the night, and you are sitting alone at your computer. Everything around you is completely silent, as the world outside has already gone to sleep. Your eyes are fixed on the glowing screen. You are staring intensely at an online shopping cart, and the blue light reflects clearly in your pupils as you scroll. Inside that digital cart, you have carefully picked out a specific shirt. It is a piece of clothing that you have been looking for a long time. This is not just a random impulse buy, because this is a shirt that you actually need for your wardrobe right now. You have decided that today is the day to buy it. You look down at the subtotal at the bottom of the page. The shirt costs exactly $42, and you are prepared to spend that specific amount. You decide to move forward, so you click the checkout button to finish the purchase. You are ready to pay for your items and close the browser. But suddenly you see it. A dreaded notification pops up on the screen informing you that the shipping will cost an extra $7. Your thumb hovers right over the confirm button, but you hesitate. You cannot bring yourself to click it because that small fee feels like a massive barrier. Spending $7 on shipping feels like a total waste of your resources. It feels exactly like you are taking your cash and throwing it into a hot furnace. But then, right next to that fee, you notice something different. In bright, happy, and encouraging green text, it says free shipping on orders over $50. The moment the word free enters the conversation, your brain instantly locks up. Your logic center completely shuts down, as if someone just pulled the plug on your common sense. While your logic is gone, your dopamine center suddenly lights up with intense energy. You are no longer thinking about money, because you are only thinking about the reward of getting something for $0. You tell yourself that you are definitely not going to pay $7 for shipping because you believe that paying for delivery is only for suckers. You are convinced that you are way too smart for that. So instead of finishing your order, you go back to the store page. You start to scroll through endless rows of items, looking for something cheap just to bridge the gap in your cart. After searching for a while, you find a simple pair of socks that costs $12. You add them to your cart immediately, feeling like you have found the perfect solution to your shipping problem. The calculation on the screen finally changes, and your new total is now $54. Because you reached the threshold, the shipping fee has completely vanished and is now listed as free. You reach out and click the buy button with an overwhelming sense of victory. In this moment, you feel like a champion who has outsmarted the entire online shopping industry. You are convinced that you have beaten the system and successfully saved $7 on shipping. You feel clever and resourceful for avoiding that unnecessary fee. But did you actually save anything? Let us slow down and perform the forensic accounting on this specific transaction to see what really happened to your money. Think about it. You just spent $12 on a pair of socks that you did not want, did not need, and that you will probably never even wear. You did all of that just to save $7 on shipping. But instead, you literally paid a $5 stupidity tax. You chose to spend more money, just to avoid a smaller fee that you did not like. When the transaction is finished, you walked away with less money in your bank account than if you had just paid the shipping fee in the first place. Your attempt to save actually made you poorer. This phenomenon is known as the zero price effect. It is a fundamental glitch in the human operating system that causes our rational brains to completely short-circuit the very moment the word free enters the conversation. Huge corporations are fully aware of this mental flaw, and they are actively exploiting this glitch to extract billions of dollars from us every single year through clever marketing. My name is Kyle, and I spend way too much of my personal time thinking about the intense psychological warfare that marketing departments wage against our wallets every day. If you are someone who has ever bought a buy one get one free deal for items you did not actually need, or if you are currently paying off a 0% interest loan that somehow feels incredibly expensive, then you know exactly what I am talking about. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this information helps you out, because today we are going to dive deep and dissect the actual math of free. We are going to look closely at the hidden costs of free shipping, the predatory trap of 0% financing, and the data mining scam of free apps. I am going to show you why free is usually the most expensive price you can possibly pay. Here is the thing about the word free. In the world of economics, it acts like a singularity. It literally divides the logic of the market by zero and breaks all the normal rules of human behavior. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely famously proved that the difference between 2 cents and 1 cent is very small, but the difference between 1 cent and 0 cents is absolutely massive in our minds. When something costs even a single penny, we naturally weigh the pros and the cons. We perform a mental cost-benefit analysis, and we ask ourselves if the item is actually worth our money. But when something is free, we stop thinking about value and start thinking about fear. We fear missing out on a gain, and we fear passing up something that we could have had for nothing. This is exactly why you will stand in a long line for 45 minutes just to get a free scoop of ice cream that normally costs only $3. In that moment, you are valuing your own precious time at only $4 an hour just to get the freebie. The corporation knows this, and they know that free is an emotional button that bypasses your logic. They use free as a Trojan horse. They wheel a free gift into your life, and once it is inside, the soldiers jump out and empty your wallet while you are not looking. Let us dig a lot deeper into the concept of the free shipping threshold because it is by far the most common scam on the entire internet today. You might be tempted to think that the $50 threshold is just an arbitrary number picked out of thin air, but I can assure you that it is definitely not. That specific number is calculated with sniper-like precision by data scientists. The company knows exactly what they are doing when they set that limit. The company knows that their average order value, or AOV, is maybe $38. This is the amount the typical customer normally spends without any extra pressure. They know that if they set the free shipping threshold at $50, they can force you to stretch your budget. They are manipulating your behavior just to increase their overall average order value. And here is the kicker that most people miss. They often bake the shipping cost directly into the initial price of the product anyway. That $42 shirt likely only cost them $4 to actually manufacture, and they priced it high just to cover marketing and the average shipping costs. When you add those extra socks just to get free shipping, you are not hurting the company at all. In fact, you are giving them pure profit margin on those socks because they have already covered their shipping costs with the first item. You are not optimizing your own spending, you are actually working for them. You have become an unpaid employee of their fulfillment center, moving inventory off their shelves just to clear space in their warehouse. Now let us talk about another massive deception, the buy one get one free trap. This is a staple tactic of grocery stores and clothing retailers everywhere, and it sounds like an amazing deal on the surface. But let us look at the actual math behind this. If you buy one shirt for $50 and get the second one for free, you have effectively paid $25 for each shirt. That is a 50% discount, which sounds good at first. But you have to stop and ask yourself a very important question. Did you actually need two shirts? If your original goal was only to buy one item, then you did not actually save 50% on your purchase. In reality, you spent $50 to solve a problem that could have been easily solved for only $25 if you had just been patient and waited for a standard 50% off sale to happen. The truth is that buy one get one free deals are rarely about giving the customer actual value. They are almost always about a calculated process called inventory dumping. The retailer has far too much stock taking up space in their warehouse, and it is costing them a significant amount of money just to hold that inventory and store it on their shelves. They need to get rid of that extra stock as quickly as possible, so they design these offers to make you feel like you are winning while you are actually just helping them clear their floor. The reality of this situation is that you are actually paying for the privilege of being their personal garbage disposal. You are taking on the responsibility of getting rid of their excess stock so they do not have to. You end up filling your closet with depreciating assets that you did not really want and certainly did not need. You only took them because the second one was presented as being free, even though it adds zero value to your life. Think about the logistics for a moment. The entire cost of storage has shifted directly from their massive warehouse to your own house. They no longer have to pay to keep that item, because you are doing it for them. You are effectively paying rent on the actual square footage that your clutter occupies. Every square inch of your home costs you money, and you are wasting it by storing things you did not even want to buy. That free shirt is costing you your mental peace and your valuable closet space. But this whole conversation gets significantly darker when we start talking about 0% financing or offers that are marketed as being the same as cash. You see this all the time at furniture stores, mattress stores, and giant appliance depots. They are everywhere, and they all offer the same seductive promise to consumers. The sign in the window says no interest for 24 months. To the average person, this sounds exactly like free money, because you are getting the product now without paying the extra cost. You might think that it makes perfect sense to pay later for free. After all, inflation means that money will be worth much less in the future than it is today, so on paper, this seems like a massive mathematical win. But here is the absolute trap. It is buried deep within the fine print of the contract, in a very specific clause called deferred interest. This is the part they do not want you to notice. This is actually one of the most predatory and dangerous financial mechanisms in existence. It is designed to look helpful while it waits for you to make a tiny mistake. The deal works in a very specific way. You walk into the store and you buy a brand new sofa for exactly $2,000. You agree to make the small minimum payments every single month for a total of 24 months. If you manage to pay off the entire $2,000 by the end of the 24th month, you pay zero interest, and everything seems to be going great. But if you have a balance of even $1 left on the very first day of the 25th month, or if you happen to miss a single payment during the term, the entire deal is immediately void. And here is the horror movie twist. You do not just owe interest on that remaining $1. You actually owe interest on the original $2,000, calculated all the way back from day one at a penalty rate of usually 29.99%. Think about the math on that for a moment. You slip up, and you miss the deadline by only 1 week because you were away on vacation. Suddenly, you are hit with a massive bill for $1,200 in back interest. All those months of supposed savings vanish in an instant. That sofa that was supposed to cost you $2,000 now actually costs you $3,200. You just paid a 60% premium on your purchase just because you made one simple human mistake. The financing company is not betting on you succeeding and paying off the loan. They are actively betting on you failing. Their entire business model relies on a concept called breakage, which is the percentage of people who fail to pay off the loan in time. The moment you put your signature on that financing contract, you are essentially stepping into a high-stakes game where you are betting against the house. The house knows something that you might be ignoring, which is that human beings are naturally disorganized, forgetful, and constantly prone to unexpected emergencies. In this scenario, you are essentially trying to pick up tiny pennies while standing right in front of a giant rumbling steamroller. Even if you are absolutely perfect, and you pay the entire balance off in time, you still likely overpaid for the item because of the cash discount factor. When a store offers 0% financing, they have to pay a fee to the lender to subsidize that loan. That fee, which is often 5% or 10%, is baked right into the sticker price of the sofa. The sofa is listed at $2,000 with 0% financing, but the real cash value is probably only $1,700 if you walked in with cash and asked for the actual cash price. By taking the supposedly free financing, you are paying a hidden surcharge for the illusion of free money because the cost is not gone, it is just hidden in the principal. Now let us look at the digital world, where the entire internet is built on the concept of free, through free apps and free email and free social media that we all use every day. We think we are getting a great deal, but there is a famous saying in Silicon Valley, which is that if the product you are using is free, then you are the product. You are not the actual customer of companies like Facebook or Google. You are the livestock, while the real customer is the advertiser, and the free service is just the feed they give you to keep you in the pen. The companies keep you inside their digital ecosystem specifically so they can harvest every single piece of your personal data. This process creates a hidden cost that we should call the privacy tax. You are not paying with money, but you are paying with the most intimate details of your life. Your data has incredible value because it determines your future insurance rates, your specific credit offers, and even your level of employability in the modern job market. By giving your data away for free in exchange for a dopamine-hitting app, you are essentially selling your entire privacy for only pennies on the dollar. There is also the premium trap in gaming and software, where you download a mobile game for free, and at first it seems like a lot of fun. But then to progress further in the game, you find that you suddenly need special gems or more energy units. The game is carefully designed with specific pain points, which are artificial barriers meant to slow your progress down. The only way to remove that feeling of frustration and continue the fun is to pay real money. This is what experts call the sunk cost hook. Once you have already invested 10 hours of your life into the free game, you feel deeply committed to the experience. You do not want to stop now, because you feel like you would be losing all that effort. You think to yourself that spending only $5 is not a big deal. But then, it becomes another $5, and then it is another $5 after that. The game developers actually hire professional psychologists to design these addictive loops. They know exactly when to give you a small win and exactly when to frustrate you to keep you hooked. I personally know people who have ended up spending thousands of dollars on games that were supposed to be free. They started with small amounts, but the total grew into a massive financial burden over time. When you look at the math, it would have been significantly cheaper to just buy a $60 console game up front. A fixed price acts like a shield that protects your wallet from constant leaks. While a fixed price protects you, a free price opens up your spending to infinity. It allows the developers to keep asking for more money forever because there is no clear end to the transaction. Now let us talk about free trials, which are the actual vampires of the modern subscription economy. They invite you in with a promise to try their service for free for 30 days. You have to ask yourself why they want your credit card number for something that is supposedly free. They do this because they are banking on the powerful force of human inertia. Newton's first law of physics actually applies to your personal finance as well. An object at rest stays at rest. Once you sign up for that service, you are statistically very unlikely to ever cancel it. The company knows that you will simply forget to cancel. The moment the 30-day trial period ends, it will immediately roll over into a paid subscription without any extra warning. You see the charge on your statement and you think that you really need to cancel that soon. But you are busy, so you wait, and before you know it, 3 months have gone by. You just paid $45 for what was supposed to be a free trial. The company is literally banking on your executive dysfunction. They are actively monetizing your own forgetfulness and the fact that modern life makes everyone incredibly busy and distracted. There is another very subtle free scam, which is the massive reward point systems that we see everywhere. This system is designed to completely gamify your personal spending habits. You might find yourself buying things you do not even need just to hit the next tier or to finally get that elusive free flight. The system makes you focus on the reward instead of the actual cost. But let us look at the real numbers. If you spend $10,000 on unnecessary junk just to get a flight that is worth $500, you did not actually get a free flight at all. In reality, you just bought a flight that cost you $10,500. The points you earned are simply a small rebate on your own massive overspending. The credit card companies know that people who chase points spend much more on average than people who use cash. That free travel you enjoy is actually funded by the merchant fees on your own inflated spending habits. So why do we keep falling for this? It is because the word free removes the feeling of risk. When we pay actual money, we take the risk that the product might not be good, but when it is free, we feel like we have nothing to lose. But we are actually very bad at calculating the risk of our own future behavior. We constantly overestimate our own personal discipline, and we tell ourselves that we will definitely pay off that loan in 24 months. At the same time, we significantly underestimate the massive manipulative power that the seller holds over our decisions. We like to think that we are rational actors in a free market, but in reality, we are just emotional actors playing in a rigged casino where the odds are already set against us. So we must ask how we can protect ourselves. We need to learn how to stop paying the free tax. The very first step is to adopt a strict policy of total price calculation for every single purchase. When you see a buy one get one deal, you should calculate the unit price of the items if you bought them individually elsewhere. Often you will find that buying one item at the discount store is actually cheaper than the deal at the fancy store. Do not look at the savings, but look at the total cash leaving your hand. When it comes to the trick of free shipping, you have to be willing to simply abandon the cart. You need to develop the mental strength to walk away from the transaction entirely when you feel the pressure to spend more. If your total is at $42 and the threshold for free shipping is $50, you must ask yourself a very honest question. Is there anything that I legitimately need right now for exactly $8? If the honest answer to that question is no, then you should simply pay the shipping fee. It is much better to pay $7 for delivery than to pay $12 for something that you do not even want. Or even better, you can choose to wait. You should apply the 24-hour rule by leaving the items in your cart and closing the browser to come back a whole day later. Often, you will find that the intense urge to buy that shirt will have completely passed, and you will end up saving the entire $42. Sometimes the retailer might even send you a coupon code just for being patient. Patience is the ultimate antidote to the psychological free trigger. By simply taking your time, you allow the emotional part of your brain to cool down, and your logical mind to take control again. When it comes to 0% financing, my advice is actually very simple: do not do it. If you cannot afford to pay full cash for that furniture right now, then you simply cannot afford the furniture. The risk of falling into the deferred interest trap is way too high. One small mistake can cost you a fortune, and the benefit of keeping your cash for a few more months is never worth that level of danger. However, if you must use financing because you are facing a true emergency like a broken refrigerator that you need to replace immediately, you have to be extremely careful with how you handle the payments. You should set up an automatic payment that clears the entire balance at least 1 month before the final deadline. Do not trust yourself to remember every month. You must automate your own safety to avoid any potential disasters. Before you agree to any financing, you should always try to negotiate the cash price first. You should look the seller in the eye and ask if you can get a significant discount for paying for the entire item up front. If the store refuses to give you a cash discount, then that proves the financing cost is already baked into the sticker price. They are essentially forcing you to pay for the financing whether you use it or not. Finally, you must learn to truly value your personal data. You need to be extremely stingy with your free signups because your information is the currency of the modern age. You should always use a burner email address and various privacy tools to protect yourself. Do not make it easy for companies to track your behavior across the entire web. Whatever you do, you must not give away your digital soul just to get a tiny 10% off coupon. Your long-term privacy is worth much more than a small temporary discount on a random item. The entire free ecosystem is designed to rely on you being completely passive. It wants you to stop asking questions and just follow the path that they have laid out for you. It relies on you simply clicking the accept button without ever taking the time to read what is actually written in those long and complicated contracts. The marketing machine relies on you grabbing the shiny object as fast as possible without ever looking for the hidden hook that is buried right underneath it. The bottom line is very simple. In the modern global economy, there is no such thing as a free lunch, and there is certainly no such thing as free money. Every single time you see the word free, your mental alarm bells should immediately start ringing. You must remember that free is always just a marketing cost for the company. You must always remember that someone is definitely paying for that free offer. Nothing in the modern economy is created for zero cost, and the money has to come from somewhere. And 99% of the time, that someone is actually you. You are paying either through inflated prices, future interest charges, your own wasted data, or simply through unnecessary consumption. You need to understand that free is just a lie. Value is the only truth that should matter to you. You should always seek real value in your life and stop chasing those empty freebies. If this video made you realize that you have a shopping cart full of junk you do not even need just to save on shipping, then you should go and empty that cart right now. Make sure to share this information with a friend who is addicted to those buy one get one sales. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.